Today we're pulling back the curtain on 6 Australian chicken products with quality issues you need to know about before your next shop. We're talking about rubbery, woody texture that's become shockingly common, water weight tricks that cost you money, and the massive gap between what labels promise and what you actually get on your plate. This isn't about food safety scares or recalls. This is about quality, transparency, and whether the chicken you're paying for is actually worth eating. Stay until the end, because we'll reveal which Australian chicken brands and products are genuinely worth your money. For decades, Australians trusted that chicken was chicken. Simple, affordable protein. A staple you could grab without thinking twice. But somewhere along the line, something changed. Shoppers started noticing their chicken breasts had a strange, rubbery texture, almost crunchy, even when fully cooked. Others discovered they were paying for water weight, not actual meat. And the chickens themselves? They've been bred to grow so fast, so large, that their muscle tissue can't keep up, creating texture problems that make the meat genuinely unpleasant to eat. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's a documented condition called woody breast syndrome, and it's become increasingly common in commercial chicken farming worldwide, including Australia. Consumer complaints on Australian Reddit threads, social media, and review sites paint a clear picture. People are frustrated. They're wasting money, and many are starting to avoid chicken breast altogether because the texture has become so unreliable. Meanwhile, major supermarkets continue selling these products, often with little to no indication of quality issues, until you get home, cook it, and realize something's very wrong. So let's go through the chicken products raising the biggest concerns, what's really happening behind those plastic-wrapped trays, and what you need to look for before you buy. Number 1. Generic budget chicken breast fillets from Coles and Woolworth's own brand ranges. These are the cheapest options on the shelf, often under $10 per kilogram, and for families watching their budget, they seem like an obvious choice. But here's what shoppers across Australia have been reporting for years now, and it's only getting worse. Australian consumers on Reddit describe encountering woody breast texture regularly. One shopper said that until around 3 years ago, they'd encounter one woody breast for every 10 to 15 shopping trips. Now, they say it's challenging to find a kilogram of chicken breasts without at least one affected fillet. Another Woolworths shopper reported getting rubbery texture maybe once every 6 or 8 times they buy chicken, noting there was a particularly bad patch 2 or 3 years ago when it was happening much more frequently. So what is woody breast? It's a condition where chicken breast muscle becomes abnormally tough, pale, and fibrous. When you cook it, the texture feels rubbery, almost crunchy, despite being fully cooked. It's laced with hard fibers that are technically safe to eat, but genuinely unpleasant. The condition tends to only affect breast meat, not thighs or wings, and it's more prevalent in commercially raised chickens bred for rapid growth. These birds are pushed to reach market weight in just 5 to 6 weeks, and their breast muscle grows so fast that the tissue structure can't develop properly. Why is this a problem beyond just texture? Because you're paying full price for meat that's borderline inedible. Multiple Australian shoppers report throwing the chicken away after trying to eat it, saying it does not feel right and is rubbery and just weird. Some have switched away from chicken breast entirely, opting for tenderloins or thighs instead. Others say they're wasting so much money because they usually don't eat it and bin it instead. The frustrating part: you can't tell from looking at the packet. Woody breast often looks perfectly normal through the plastic wrap. It's only when you touch it raw or try to cook and eat it that the problem becomes obvious. Budget chicken products are hit hardest because they come from the fastest-growing, highest-volume farming operations where woody breast rates are highest. And if you think paying a bit more solves the problem, number 2 might surprise you. Number 2, Woolworth's RSPCA approved chicken breast, but not for the reasons you'd expect. This is mid-range chicken, not the cheapest, with RSPCA welfare certification and a reassuring green label. Most shoppers assume they're getting better quality, but a viral customer complaint exposed something that made a lot of Australians angry. The weight trick. In a TikTok video that circulated repeatedly since 2020, a Woolworths shopper bought a pack labeled as 806 grams of chicken breast. When he weighed just the meat at home, it came to only 756 grams. 50 grams less than advertised. Where did the missing weight go? Into the absorbent soak pad at the bottom of the tray. When he added that pad to the scales, it totaled exactly 806 grams. At $12 per kilogram, that meant the customer paid an extra 60 cents for a wet sponge pad, not chicken. Now, Woolworths defended this, saying all chicken products are weighed by suppliers before distribution, and that liquid naturally transfers from the meat to the pad before customers take it home. Technically, that's true. The chicken probably did weigh 806 grams when packed. But here's the uncomfortable question. Why should customers pay by the weight of the packaging and absorbed liquid, not the actual edible meat? If 50 grams of moisture leaks out onto a pad, that's 50 grams you can't eat. Yet you're still charged for it. This isn't illegal. Australia's trade measurement regulations allow for packaging weight, and Woolworths products are audited by the National Measurement Institute. But many shoppers feel it's deceptive. The label shows a weight that includes non-edible components, and most people assume they're paying for meat, not liquid-soaked padding. It's not just Woolworths either. This is standard practice across supermarket chicken, but the viral complaint highlighted how much it actually costs consumers. 6% of the weight in that example was padding. If you're buying chicken weekly, that adds up to dollars wasted over a year on moisture and cardboard you throw straight in the bin. And here's where it gets worse. When you combine water weight tricks with woody breast texture issues, you're potentially paying premium prices for chicken that's both overpriced by weight and poor quality by texture. But if you think switching to a heritage Australian brand solves everything, number 3 complicates that story. Number 3, Steggles chicken breast products. Steggles is one of Australia's most recognizable chicken brands, owned by Baiada, part of the duopoly that controls around 70% of Australia's chicken market alongside Ingham's. The branding is classic Aussie, familiar, trusted. But Steggles chicken comes from the same intensive commercial farming systems driving the woody breast epidemic, and the brand has no immunity to quality complaints. Because woody breast isn't about one brand or farm. It's about the entire commercial chicken industry breeding birds for extreme rapid growth. Steggles chickens, like most supermarket chicken, are fast-growing broiler breeds that reach market weight in 5 to 6 weeks. That's half the time it would take heritage or slower-growing breeds. The result? Breast muscles that grow faster than the supporting connective tissue can handle, creating that fibrous, woody texture that's ruining chicken for thousands of Australian consumers. Online complaints about chicken texture don't discriminate by brand. Shoppers report getting woody breast from Woolworths, Coles, Aldi, and, yes, Steggles. One commenter said, "I've noticed for a while now that the breasts have a bad steak-like consistency and are extremely horrible to eat. This has been going on quite a while, and it seems no matter where I purchased the breasts or what brand, they all were of the woody texture." Another said they've switched to organic because the texture of the chicken breast completely turned me off. When I saw that the breasts were almost the size of turkey breasts, I stopped buying them because I knew the quality was going nowhere but down. That last point is crucial. The bigger the breast, the higher the risk of woody breast syndrome. Commercial farming has pushed chicken breast sizes to absurd levels. These aren't normal birds anymore. They're engineered for maximum breast meat yield, and the trade-off is texture and eating quality. Steggles isn't worse than other brands, but it's also not better. It sits right in the middle of the same industrial system that prioritizes volume and speed over quality. And if even the big Australian names can't guarantee texture quality, what about fast food and pre-prepared products? Number 4. Fast food and takeaway chicken breast products. Think chicken burgers, grilled chicken wraps, chicken schnitzel sandwiches from major chains. If you've bitten into fast food chicken lately and experienced a rubbery, almost crunchy texture despite it being fully cooked and hot, you're not imagining it. You've likely encountered woody breast, and according to multiple consumer reports, fast food suppliers seem to get it at a higher rate than supermarkets. One detailed consumer complaint stated, "I have had this chicken a lot lately. I am wasting so much money because I usually don't eat it and throw it away. I get it from fast food and all brands in the grocery. It's hit or miss. But the fast food places usually always have it. They probably get it at a discounted rate." That last line is the key insight. Fast food chains operate on razor-thin margins and need the cheapest possible protein. If woody breast chicken can't be sold as premium fresh fillets in supermarkets, where does it go? Industry sources suggest it's redirected to processed products like nuggets, patties, and yes, fast food suppliers, where texture is less critical because it's breaded, sauced, or minced. So why is this a problem if it's safe to eat? Because you're paying for a chicken burger and getting meat that feels wrong in your mouth. It's tough, fibrous, unpleasant to chew. And when you complain, staff often don't know what you're talking about because woody breast isn't widely understood or acknowledged by chains. You're left feeling like you got a bad batch, when in reality, it's a systemic quality issue that's been normalized in the cheap protein supply chain. Australian consumers have noticed this too. One shopper said they now eat tenderloins instead of breasts if they eat chicken at all, specifically because fast food chicken breast has become so unreliable. Others say they've reduced chicken consumption altogether, switching to other proteins rather than gamble on texture. And if fast food chicken quality has declined this much, what about frozen products designed to last months in your freezer? Number 5. Generic frozen chicken breast from discount retailers and no-name brands. These products turn up in freezer aisles at discount stores, sometimes in bulk bags with vague labeling and rock-bottom prices. The appeal is obvious. Stock your freezer for months. Save money. Always have chicken on hand. But the quality complaints around frozen chicken breast are even more intense than fresh, and for good reason. Frozen chicken breast suffers from all the same woody breast texture issues as fresh, but with an added problem: water injection. Many frozen chicken products are injected with brine or water solutions to increase weight and improve moisture retention during freezing. That sounds helpful until you cook it. The chicken releases massive amounts of water into the pan, shrinking dramatically and often ending up dry and rubbery despite the added moisture. One Australian shopper described buying frozen chicken and finding that when cooked, it shrank to half the size and had a texture like rubber that's been left in the sun. The woody breast issue is often worse in frozen products because these are typically sourced from the highest volume, lowest cost suppliers, where fast-growing breeds and woody breast rates are highest. And because the chicken is frozen solid when you buy it, you have no way to assess texture or quality until you've already paid and defrosted it at home. By then, it's too late. There's also the origin question. Some frozen chicken sold in Australia is imported, and while it's required to be labeled, shoppers don't always check carefully. Imported frozen chicken isn't necessarily unsafe, but it raises traceability questions. If there's a quality issue, where do you report it? If woody breast becomes a pattern, how do you know which supplier or farm to avoid? The answer is, you don't. You're buying blind, often based purely on price, and texture quality is a complete lottery. Multiple online reviewers have said they've given up on frozen chicken entirely, sticking only to fresh. And even then, they're frustrated by inconsistency. And if even buying fresh doesn't guarantee quality, what's left? Number 6. Pre-crumbed chicken schnitzel and breaded chicken products sold in supermarket fridges and freezers. These seem like convenient, family-friendly options. Pre-seasoned, ready to cook, perfect for quick weeknight dinners. But here's what you need to know. Pre-crumbed chicken products are exactly where woody breast chicken often ends up. Industry reports confirm that when chicken breast with woody texture is identified, it's frequently redirected into processed products, where texture is masked by breading, sauces, or mincing. Schnitzels, nuggets, tenders, patties. These products hide texture problems under layers of crumb and flavor, and most consumers would never notice. But if you've ever bitten into a schnitzel and found the chicken inside strangely tough, stringy, or fibrous despite being fully cooked and hot, you've likely encountered woody breast disguised by breading. The other issue is quality. Pre-crumbed chicken is often made from lower-grade breast offcuts or fillets that wouldn't sell well as plain fresh chicken. That's not inherently unsafe, but it means you're paying for breading, oil absorption, and lower-quality meat underneath. One nutritionist pointed out that some frozen schnitzels can contain more crumb than chicken by weight, meaning you're essentially paying chicken prices for breadcrumbs. And then there's the sodium. Pre-crumbed chicken products are typically loaded with salt in the seasoning and marinade, far more than you'd add if cooking plain chicken at home. For families relying on these products multiple times a week, that's a significant and often invisible source of excess sodium. The labels might highlight convenience or family favorite messaging, but what they don't highlight is that you're getting engineered chicken texture masked by coating at a premium price. Australian shoppers looking for genuinely better chicken quality need to avoid these products entirely. But if schnitzels and cheap breast fillets are off the table, where do you actually find chicken worth eating? Now, let's talk about the Australian chicken products and sources that are genuinely worth your time and money. Because not all chicken is created equal, and there are still options that prioritize slower growth, better texture, and honest labeling. First, if you're buying from supermarkets, look for RSPCA Approved chicken that's also labeled free-range or organic. Brands like Lilydale Free Range, Woolworth's Macro Organic, Coles Free Range, and M.T. Barker are all certified by the RSPCA and use slower-growing breeds or lower-density farming systems. That doesn't eliminate woody breast entirely, but it significantly reduces the risk because these birds aren't pushed to grow as fast. Multiple Australian consumers report that after switching to organic chicken, the texture improved noticeably. One said, "I've switched to organic. The texture of the chicken breast completely turned me off with regular chicken. Pricey, but worth it." Second, consider buying chicken thighs instead of breasts. Woody breast syndrome only affects breast meat. Thighs, drumsticks, and wings don't have the same texture issues because those muscles don't grow at the extreme rates that cause woody breast. Thighs are also more forgiving to cook, more flavorful, and often cheaper per kilogram than breast. If texture consistency is your priority, switching to thighs eliminates the problem entirely. Third, and this is the single best option if you have access, buy from a local butcher, poultry farm, or farmer's market. Small-scale producers and independent butchers typically source from slower-growing heritage breeds or smaller farms where woody breast is far less common. You'll pay more per kilogram, but you're getting genuinely better quality meat. One Sydney-based butcher told customers, "We only stock chicken from farms we've visited personally. The texture difference is night and day compared to supermarket chicken." When you can see where your chicken comes from, talk to the person who sourced it, and know it wasn't bred purely for speed and size, that's when quality actually improves. Fourth, if you must buy supermarket chicken breast, feel the meat through the packaging before you buy. Woody breast feels noticeably firmer and less pliable than normal chicken, even when raw. Press gently on the breast. If it feels unusually hard or rigid compared to others in the same display, skip it. It's not a perfect test, but experienced shoppers say it helps catch the worst cases before you get home. And finally, consider reducing chicken breast consumption overall. Australian nutritionists and sustainability advocates have been saying for years that we rely too heavily on cheap chicken breast as a protein default. Diversifying to other proteins, eating more legumes, and choosing quality over quantity when you do buy chicken makes both health and environmental sense. Australian food culture has quietly normalized chicken that would have been considered unacceptable 30 years ago. We've accepted rubbery texture, water-injected weight tricks, and breast fillets the size of turkey breasts because they're cheap and convenient. But cheap comes at a cost. Not just to your wallet when you throw away inedible chicken, but to your expectations of what food should actually be like. The power to change this doesn't sit with Coles, Woolworths, Ingham's, or Bayada. It sits with you. Every time you choose to buy slower-grown chicken, every time you support a local butcher, every time you opt for thighs instead of woody breast fillets, you're voting for quality over engineered convenience. And those votes add up. Next time you're in the chicken aisle, take an extra minute. Feel the meat. Check the label for free-range or organic certification. Ask yourself whether paying $2 less per kilo is worth the gamble that you might be throwing half of it away because the texture is inedible. If you want more videos like this that expose the quality issues hiding in Australian supermarkets and help you make better choices without the marketing spin, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who's complained about rubbery chicken lately. Drop a comment and tell me, which of these 6 shocked you most? Have you experienced woody breast chicken? And what product should we investigate next? Eggs, beef, supermarket seafood, or something else? Let's keep this conversation going, because the more Australians talk about this, the harder it becomes for the industry to keep ignoring it. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay informed, and protect what's on your plate.